Hello, welcome back again to episode 7. The man stands tall, but it's kind of lonely out here. Feels like it needs some life. Something to surround it, give it some atmosphere. So today we're going to start building the forest that I mentioned in the last episode. That'll wrap around this whole area. We'll dig down the whole Dorko forest. But today we're focusing on this chopped down Dorko forest here that I took care of in the last episode. So this forest is gonna take a ton of wood, leaves, and some patience, of course. But if it turns out the way I have planned it, and in my head and in my creative world, it's going to be the perfect home away from home. Guys, I just had a look in my store system of many spruce leaves I have, and it's not looking good. This is all I have, and that means I'm gonna have to gather 13 sugar boxes of spruce leaves and like 9 sugar boxes of azalea leaves. So it's just time to start the grind. After all of this gathering of spruce leaves and spruce wood, I think it's time that I repair these tools. And with that, we're gonna head to the gold farm. Gathering might not be the most exciting thing, but it's part of the build that makes everything in Survivor special. And this is one of the parts. So I gotta make sure everything's fully repaired before we head back, because the forest isn't gonna grow itself. Now that the tools are repaired, the journey can continue, and that takes us to the mangrove forest. Luckily, I had almost all the mud, so just a quick trip to the swamp, but now it's time to go to the moss farm. And to the moss farm we went. I needed a ton of azalea bushes, both for the terrain and the leaves. I also needed some moss and some carpets. Just look at it go. But next up on the material list was short grass, so I headed to the savannah and cleared out an area both for the azalea bushes to be placed so we can get some azalea leaves. So it's like 2 birds in 1 stone. And so with that, the short grass is gathered and time to move on to the azalea leaves, which always sounds simple in theory, but in practice it's one of those tasks that just slowly eats away at your tools and your patience. Every swing feels like it costs tiny bit of your soul, but the payoff is worth it. These leaves add so much life and texture to the forest. I still wish there were a little easier way to collect it. And these were hours of gathering, but for you, it's just like 30 seconds, so lucky for you. Well, the 8 stacks of azalea bushes have finally run out, and I still don't have enough leaves. This is how far I've come with azalea leaves, and these, from here, from this, they're all filled up to here. And so we need a couple more azalea leaves, so I think it's time to go gather those. And then we'll start the forest grind. The foundation of the terrain is just the start, but now I want to build a pathway, plus I want this forest to feel like it belongs here, which means I'm entering in a new area of Minecraft I'm not super comfortable with, but that only means that the more the forest grows, the better it will get. Anyways, let's begin with the pathway up to the house. Alright, the first part of the forest is looking great so far, even for barely halfway done by the looks of it, and I've already been at this for a little over 2 hours, and we still got plenty to do, the forest floor and the other half that I planned for this video. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time and let's get building the rest of this forest. And I think that's it, at least for the foliage. Now I can finally move on to the terrain, shaping the ground, do the pathways, all the final touches. This is where it actually starts coming together. You know, just after 3 hours of building this last half of the forest, we can begin building the terrain. It starts small, a few trees, a bit of moss, but slowly the world shifts. Shade replaces sunlight, the space grows quiet and the land feels alive again. One sapling becomes a grove, one leaf becomes a canopy, and before you know it, the empty land is gone, replaced by a young forest growing one leaf at a time. It's crazy how just adding trees can change the entire vibe. The manor instantly feels older, more natural, like it's blending into the landscape. And this is just the start. Once the full forest spreads out in both directions, we'll be adding creeks, mountains, and just all the crazy stuff, so it becomes more picturesque. And this is just another step closer to making this place feel like home. From empty field to a breathing forest. This is just the beginning. Next time we'll keep expanding, maybe deeper into the forest, maybe something completely different. Either way, it's gonna be fun. Well, I wish you all the best and see you soon.